According to this tweet, validators on the Binance Smart Chain are making about a 20% APY in addition to the underlying appreciation of the Binance coin. So if you want to get in on that sweet 20% APY, become a validator, or you just want to learn more about validators and how they work on the Binance Smart Chain, then this video is for you. Hey everyone and welcome, I'm Robert with Altcoin Buzz, and in today's video we are learning all about validators on the Binance Smart Chain. Now, the first thing that I want to point out right up front is that if you came to this video looking to cash in on that 20% APY and become a Binance validator, you have a very long road ahead because it is incredibly difficult to become a Binance Smart Chain validator. There are only 21 slots, there's intense competition, and you need both a lot of resources, technical expertise, as well as very advanced hardware to become a validator. However, I'll still go through and explain the process of how to do this, and then what I'll also show you is an easier, more accessible way to still support the validation process and earn rewards through becoming a delegator. So, with that being said, let's jump right into it and ask, what is a validator? A validator is simply a blockchain node that powers the network through processing transactions and signing blocks. And in exchange for doing this, validators and delegators, remember, I'll show you how to be a delegator too, will earn rewards from the transaction fees and decentralized application usages. So if I go on PancakeSwap, if I go on Venus Finance, I make a transaction, I have to pay a small portion of BNB fees. These fees go as rewards to these validators and also their delegators. So, with that being said, what are the requirements of validators? Obviously high uptime, secure your own keys, but here's the thing. There's also some pretty good hardware requirements. You've got to have 16 gigs of RAM, 500 gigabytes of SSD storage, so not a typical hard drive. It actually has to be 500 of solid state drive. You've got to have a 64-bit CPU, 1 gigabit fiber connection, and on another page it tells you that you also have to run a full node, and to run a full node you will have to be running either Mac OS X or Linux. So just from the hardware requirements, there's a lot that goes into it. However, those are simply the requirements. That is not by any stretch saying that, hey, if you have these requirements, you're going to be a validator. That's just the entry point. To actually become a validator, you need to first be a candidate and then be selected as a validator. So what's that workflow look like? Continue your VPS network, which is a virtual private server. Install BSC full node, and again, that's where you have to have Linux or OS X. Create your wallets, download a history, start your full node, check sync status, stake on BC. So again, there's a lot of setup that goes into this, and even once that is done, you are not necessarily a validator because you have to become a validator candidate first. Now, to become a validator candidate, there's some steps you have to go through. You've got to set up and create your account, obviously starting your full node on the Binance Smart Chain. However, even after you do all that, remember that there are only 21 validators. So even if there was 100,000 people that all had the same hardware requirements, that all met these minimum requirements, we would still need a method for determining which 21 people or nodes or companies are going to be selected as our validators. And the way that we do this is that they must be one of the 21 most staked nodes to be the validator set. So this is kind of like a representative democracy, right? We elect these validators through the most staked BNB. Now, there's two ways of doing this. The first way is that you can self-bond, basically. You can self-delegate. So the minimum self-delegated amount is 100,000 BNB. Now, remember, that's the minimum to even throw your ticket in the hat. That's the minimum to get in the game. If everyone else has 200,000, your 100,000 still isn't going to qualify you to be a validator. It's just going to make you eligible to be a validator. So minimum of 100,000 BNB. And again, this is why I said that this is something that for the average investor is going to be a little bit more inaccessible, probably not something that they're going to be into. But again, just for purposes of completeness, I wanted to cover the requirements. With being a validator, you do get those rewards. However, there's also potential loss. So validators can suffer from something called slashing, which is a punishment for bad behavior, such as double sign and or instability. Such loss will be shared by their delegators as well. So this is why it's important. Even if you're delegating, you want to be delegating your BNB to a validator that you trust, because if they get penalized, you get penalized as well. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. So you can get slashed 50 BNB for being offline. You can actually go to jail. So that's kind of interesting. And when I say jail, I mean obviously BNB, Binance Smart Chain jail, not physical jail. So that's a little bit of how the Binance Smart Chain validators work, a little bit of the requirements, kind of how the setup works. What's going to be a lot more accessible for the average everyday investor is something known as delegating. Now, when you delegate, you're basically voting for who you want to represent you as a smart chain validator. So a delegator can delegate its BNB to a chosen validator to participate in the consensus and earn rewards. Staking BNB directly contributes to the security of the entire network. So how do you delegate your BNB? It's actually really simple to delegate BNB. You simply go to binance.org/staking and you see a list of all the validators that you can choose from. And it tells us the voting power and the percentage of the power that they hold. So right here, Namelix has 214,000 voting power, and that represents about 5.5%. So we can vote for whoever we want. Let's suppose that we want to vote for this one. We simply come in here, we type how much we want to vote. Now, there is a minimum of 1 BNB required to delegate. So at the time of this video, that's about $250. So a lot more accessible than 100,000 BNB, but it's still a significant investment. So it's something you should put a lot of thought into. On top of that, what you'll notice is that if you delegate, redelegate, or unbound once, it can take some time to do it again. So there's a minimum lock time of 7 days. Alright, so one thing I like to do, as much as it's possible, I actually like to go through the process and show you all how to do things instead of just saying, well, here's how it would work, or that's what you could do. So what I did, I actually got some BNB here so that I'm going to be able to meet that 1 BNB minimum. I'm simply going to log in and connect my Binance Chain wallet. And again, remember, we're operating on the actual Binance Chain, not the Binance Smart Chain. So you'll see Binance Chain mainnet here. Let's just suppose that we want to delegate to CoinLix. Remember, we need that 1 BNB minimum. We will click delegate, and then there will be a small fee for us to approve. And there it says success. The transaction was successfully signed and sent to the network. Now, if we go to my staking, we can see that indeed we have delegated 1 BNB. So that's pretty cool. So let's suppose that we have a validator, we don't like how they're operating, or maybe they're doing fine and we just want to take our BNB back, we want to sell it, we want to trade it. In order to do that, we can undelegate. However, it's important to keep in mind that we're going to have to go through this unbonding time, which at the current time is 7 days. So it's going to take us time, just like if you've used Hive before, you power up, you power down, you know that it takes time to convert kind of from that voting power, from that staked Hive into a more liquid form. So it's kind of the same thing here. And they do that to prevent a long-range attack and solve the nothing at stake problems. And then just to go in reverse, we'll go ahead and show you the steps for undelegating or redelegating. So I'm simply going to go to action. I'm going to undelegate my max amount of BNB, click undelegate, and we will sign this transaction. And then it will say that my undelegate was a success. So what we will see is that it's in that unbonding period. And remember, we have a 7-day wait period. So it's going to take a while, but that's at least how the process works. It shows you all how to go through both the staking, the unstaking process, and then of course we have that wait time as well. So you can redelegate, you can go to another validator if you choose to do so. And the cool thing about this is the rewards are distributed every day from a smart contract. And again, as I said, minimum delegated amount is 1 BNB. Now, one thing that I do want to point out, and this can kind of come as a surprise because you're staking the Binance Smart Chain. However, you are actually staking traditional BNB. So right now I'm logged in with my Binance Chain mainnet wallet. And that's what it's allowing me to delegate. So I'm not actually staking Binance Smart Chain when I'm doing this. I'm actually doing the traditional BNB. So it says the staking token is BNB as it is a native token on both blockchains anyway. The staking, token bond, and delegation actions and records for BSC happens on the Binance chain. So when we're doing this staking, when we are delegating and electing these validators, we're actually doing it on the original Binance chain. And since the Binance Smart Chain uses this proof of staked authority as its consensus engine, all the delegators of validators can receive some of the validators' reward. So if we go back here, you will see that there is a commission on that. So again, pretty cool. It allows you to participate, to earn a little bit of those rewards without all the requirements of setting up a full node, having all that excessive hardware, and managing to come up with 100,000 BNB. So if it's something you're interested in, you can definitely delegate. You can earn a portion of those rewards, and you can contribute to the security and operation of the network as well. So in closing, I hope you found this video useful. I hope it gave you a little bit more of an expectations management, perhaps, if you were thinking of becoming a smart chain validator. And if you do have the resources to become a Binance Smart Chain validator, then I hope this video at least showed you some of what may be required. And if you're more of an average investor, kind of like me, hopefully it at least showed you how you can still participate, how you can still get involved with the Binance Smart Chain and securing the network. So as always, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you got something out of the video. If you've got anything you want us to cover, we're really trying to focus on the Binance Smart Chain right now and Ethereum. So anything really within those two realms, leave a link below. We'll try and check it out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.